The alien research vessel, its sleek, angular frame cutting effortlessly through the fabric of space, was on a routine mapping mission when the unexpected happened. A powerful gravitational disturbance, unlike anything the crew had encountered before, pulled the ship off course, causing it to emerge from hyperspace in an unfamiliar region of the cosmos. "Report," barked the vessel's commander, a stern-faced individual whose weathered features betrayed years of experience navigating the treacherous currents of interstellar travel. "Sir, we've been pulled out of hyperspace by a massive gravitational anomaly," the navigator replied, her fingers dancing across the ship's holographic interface. "Scans indicate the source is a small, previously uncharted planet, one that's emitting signs of advanced technological activity." The commander's brow furrowed, a mixture of curiosity and caution etching itself across his face. "Unusual. Our charts show no record of intelligent life in this sector. Initiate a full sensor sweep and prepare a survey team. I want to know what's causing this disturbance." Within minutes, a small contingent of the alien crew had assembled, their sleek, biomechanical suits glistening as they prepared to descend to the surface of the unexplored world. As the shuttlecraft broke through the planet's atmosphere, the researchers were met with a sight that left them both intrigued and perplexed. Sprawling cities of glass and steel, crisscrossed by a complex network of transportation arteries, dotted the landscape below. Plumes of smoke and energy emissions betrayed the presence of advanced industry, while the flicker of artificial lights hinted at a thriving nocturnal civilization. "This is remarkable," murmured the lead researcher, her eyes widening behind the transparent faceplate of her suit. "The level of technological development is far beyond what we would expect to find on a planet at this stage of its natural evolution." The shuttlecraft descended, landing in a secluded area on the outskirts of one of the larger urban centers. As the researchers emerged, they were struck by the sheer diversity of the native life forms. Bipedal creatures with varying skin tones, heights, and facial features, all moving with a sense of purpose and determination that belied their seemingly primitive appearance. Curious, the lead researcher mused, her gaze sweeping across the bustling streets. These humans, as they call themselves, appear to be a highly adaptable and resourceful species, yet their level of technological sophistication is puzzling, given their apparent physical limitations. Signaling to her team, she gestured towards the nearest structure, a towering monolith of steel and glass. "We should make contact and learn more about these humans and their civilization. Who knows, they may hold the key to unlocking new mysteries about the development of intelligent life in this region of the galaxy." With a brisk nod, the survey team set out, their curiosity piqued and their minds brimming with questions about the remarkable beings they had encountered on this uncharted world. The alien survey team approached the towering human structure, their biomechanical suits gliding smoothly across the bustling city streets. As they neared the entrance, a crowd of curious onlookers began to gather, their eyes wide with a mixture of wonder and trepidation. The lead researcher raised a hand, broadcasting a message of peaceful intent in the dominant human language. "Greetings, citizens of this world. We are representatives of a peaceful, interstellar civilization, and we come in search of knowledge and understanding." The response from the humans was not the meek submission the aliens had anticipated, but rather a cautious yet defiant stance. Some retreated to a safe distance, while others stepped forward, their posture tense and their expressions guarded. "What do you want from us?" a human male called out, his voice laced with a hint of suspicion. The lead researcher recognized the need for cautious diplomacy. "We merely wish to learn about your civilization and explore the possibility of establishing peaceful relations. We are fascinated by the technological advancements we've observed and eager to understand more about your people." A tense silence fell over the crowd as the humans exchanged furtive glances, seemingly debating how to respond to the alien overtures. Finally, a woman stepped forward, her gaze unwavering. "You claim to come in peace, but your very presence here is a violation of our sovereignty. How can we trust that your true intentions are not to subjugate and exploit us?" The researcher's brow furrowed, perplexed by the human's hostility. Subjugate, exploit, such notions are entirely contrary to our purpose. We are a highly advanced civilization, and we have no need for the resources of your world. We simply wish to establish mutually beneficial relations and expand our knowledge. Your advanced civilization means nothing to us, the woman retorted, her voice rising with a hint of defiance. We have fought long and hard for our independence, and we will not surrender it to any foreign power, no matter how superior you may consider yourselves. The researcher's expression darkened, a flicker of frustration crossing her features. You misunderstand our intentions. We are not here to conquer or subjugate, but to learn and share knowledge. Surely, you can see the potential benefits of cooperation between our peoples. Cooperation. The woman let out a mirthless laugh. You arrive unannounced on our planet, flaunting your technological might, and expect us to simply accept your presence. I think not. Until you can prove your true motives, we have no choice but to view you as a potential threat to our way of life. Tension hung thick in the air as the two parties stared each other down, the gulf between their perspectives seemingly impossible to bridge. The lead researcher realized that their initial assumptions about the humans had been woefully misguided. These were no primitive, docile beings. They were a proud, defiant people, fiercely protective of their home and their autonomy. As the standoff continued, the researcher couldn't help but feel a growing sense of unease. The humans were proving to be far more formidable and unpredictable than the aliens had anticipated. Perhaps their first contact with this world had been a mistake, one that could have grave consequences for both civilizations. The tense standoff between the alien survey team and the defiant human crowd dragged on, with neither side willing to compromise. The researchers' attempts to de-escalate the situation and convey their peaceful intentions were met with growing skepticism and hostility from the increasingly agitated humans. You speak of cooperation and knowledge sharing, yet your very presence here is an act of aggression against our sovereignty. The woman spat, her eyes narrowed in accusation. How can we trust that your true motives are not to subjugate and exploit us, as so many of our kind have experienced throughout our history? The researcher fought to maintain her composure, her frustration mounting at the humans' unwillingness to see reason. You misunderstand us completely. We have no desire to subjugate or exploit your people. Our civilization is one of peace and enlightenment. We seek only to learn and share in the wonders of the cosmos. Peace and enlightenment. The man scoffed, his voice dripping with contempt. If that were true, you would have approached us with humility and respect, not with the arrogance of conquerors. Your very presence here is an affront to our way of life. Sensing the growing tension, the researcher knew she needed to tread carefully. We understand your concerns, and we are willing to engage in further dialogue to address them. But we implore you to set aside your suspicions and consider the potential benefits of cooperation between our peoples. Benefits? The woman sneered. The only benefit we see is the preservation of our freedom and independence. Unless you can convince us that your intentions are truly benevolent, we have no choice but to view you as a threat to be neutralized. The researcher's eyes widened in alarm at the woman's words, a chill running down her spine. Neutralized. Surely you don't mean to. Before she could finish, the sound of approaching vehicles and the rumble of heavy machinery interrupted the exchange. The human crowd parted, revealing a contingent of heavily armed, uniformed figures advancing towards the alien survey team. You have been deemed a threat to the security of our nation, the woman declared, her voice cold and unyielding. I'm afraid we can no longer allow your presence on our world. The researcher's heart raced as she realized the gravity of the situation. The humans, far from the docile, primitive beings they had expected to encounter, were proving to be a formidable and unyielding adversary. As the armed human forces closed in, the researcher knew that the delicate first contact had taken a dangerous turn, one that could have dire consequences for both civilizations. The alien researcher's mind raced as she watched the heavily armed human forces converge on their position. Clearly, these were no mere primitives. They were a proud, defiant people, fiercely protective of their home and willing to use overwhelming force to defend it. "We mean you no harm," the researcher pleaded, raising her hands in a gesture of surrender. "Our aim is only to establish peaceful relations and mutual understanding. There is no need for this escalation of violence." The human woman's expression remained cold and unyielding. "Your mere presence here is an act of aggression against our sovereignty. We will not tolerate the incursion of any foreign power, no matter what lofty claims you make." Sensing the futility of further negotiation, the researcher turned to her team, her voice tight with urgency. "Initiate emergency protocols and prepare for immediate extraction. We must retreat and regroup." But as the alien shuttlecraft rose from the ground, the human forces unleashed a devastating barrage of energy weapons, their sustained fire ripping through the shuttle's defenses and sending it careening back to the Earth in a blaze of twisted metal and smoke. The researcher's eyes widened in horror as she felt the impact of the crash, her body battered and bruised. Somehow, she had survived, but the same could not be said for many of her team members. All around her, the lifeless forms of her colleagues lay amidst the smoldering wreckage. Staggering to her feet, the researcher clutched her side, wincing in pain. Dragging herself towards the edge of the destroyed craft, she gazed out at the human forces, their weapons still trained on the alien vessel. This cannot be," she whispered, her voice laced with disbelief. "How could a primitive civilization possess such advanced military capabilities? How could they have overcome our superior technology so effortlessly?" The human woman approached, her expression grim but triumphant. "You underestimated us, alien. You assumed your technological might would cow us into submission, but you were sadly mistaken. We are a proud and resilient people, and we will fight to the last to defend our freedom." The researcher shook her head, her mind reeling. "But how? Our sensors detected no signs of such advanced weaponry. How could you have developed these capabilities without our knowledge?" The woman's lips curled into a sardonic smile. "Perhaps you should have taken the time to truly understand us, rather than dismissing us as mere primitives. We have spent centuries honing our military prowess, utilizing our ingenuity and resourcefulness to create technologies you could scarcely imagine." She leaned in, her eyes burning with a fierce, almost primal intensity. "Now, alien, you will return to your people and deliver a message. Humanity is not to be trifled with. We are the apex predators of this world, and we will not be subjugated by any foreign power, no matter how advanced you believe yourselves to be." The researcher felt a chill run down her spine as she realized the gravity of the situation. These humans were no mere obstacles to be swept aside. They were formidable adversaries, possessing a level of technological sophistication and military capability that defied the aliens' expectations. And if they were willing to use such overwhelming force to defend their homeworld, the researcher could only imagine the consequences should the two civilizations come into full-scale conflict. The battered and bruised alien researcher, the sole survivor of the disastrous first contact, returned to her homeworld with a grim determination to convince her superiors of the true nature of the human threat. As the alien command council convened to hear her report, the researcher's voice trembled with a mixture of shock and urgency. "Our initial assessment of the humans was catastrophically flawed. Far from the primitive, technologically inferior species we had expected, they have proven to be a formidable adversary, possessing advanced military capabilities that easily overwhelmed our own." The council members exchanged uneasy glances, their expressions darkening with each passing moment. "Impossible," one of the counselors interjected, his brow furrowed in skepticism. "Our intelligence gathering and sensor sweeps detected no signs of such advanced technology on that planet. How could they have developed these capabilities without our knowledge?" The researcher shook her head, her eyes intense with conviction. "That is precisely the problem. We utterly failed to comprehend the true nature of this species. Their ingenuity, resourcefulness, and adaptability seemed to know no bounds. They were able to conceal the full extent of their military might from our scans, catching us completely off guard. Another counselor leaned forward, his voice grave. If what you say is true, then this poses a grave threat to our civilization. A species capable of such deception and strategic prowess could pose a significant challenge to our expansionist ambitions. The researcher nodded solemnly. That is precisely my concern. The humans have demonstrated a fierce protectiveness of their homeworld and a willingness to use overwhelming force to defend it. Should we attempt to subjugate them, we may well find ourselves facing an enemy unlike any we have ever encountered. Silence hung thick in the air as the council members grappled with the implications of the researcher's report. Finally, the lead counselor raised a hand, his expression grave. We must reevaluate our entire approach to this situation. Clearly, the humans are not the docile, primitive species we had assumed. They possess a unique combination of physical, intellectual, and psychological attributes that make them a formidable adversary. He turned to the researcher, his eyes narrowed in contemplation. You say they were able to conceal the true extent of their military capabilities from our scans. That suggests an advanced understanding of stealth and deception, traits that, if harnessed properly, could prove invaluable to our own strategic goals. The researcher's brow furrowed, her gaze questioning. You cannot be suggesting that we attempt to subjugate them after all. Surely, the risks of such an endeavor would far outweigh any potential benefits. The lead counselor's expression hardened. On the contrary, our goal should not be subjugation, but rather understanding and, potentially, cooperation. These humans have demonstrated a resilience and adaptability that could prove useful to our civilization. We must tread carefully, but we cannot afford to dismiss them as mere primitives any longer. As the council members began to debate the merits of this new approach, the researcher couldn't help but feel a growing sense of unease. The humans were proving to be far more complex and capable than anyone had imagined, and the consequences of mishandling this situation could be catastrophic for both civilizations. The renewed diplomatic efforts between the aliens and the humans progressed slowly but steadily, as both sides navigated the treacherous waters of mistrust and cultural differences. The alien team, led by the seasoned researcher, approached the negotiations with a newfound sense of caution and respect, fully aware that any misstep could reignite the smoldering conflict. As the talks wore on, the researcher and her colleagues began to gain a deeper understanding of the human psyche. Their fierce pride, their unwavering determination, and their ability to adapt and innovate in the face of adversity. These were not the primitive beings the aliens had initially dismissed, but a species with a unique and formidable set of traits. They are extraordinary, the researcher mused, her gaze fixed on the human delegates across the negotiation table. Their ingenuity, their resilience, their capacity for problem-solving, it far exceeds anything we had anticipated. One of her colleagues nodded, his expression pensive. Indeed. And the more we learn about them, the more we realize the vast potential that lies in forging a true alliance. Their technological aptitude, combined with our own advanced capabilities, could unlock discoveries and breakthroughs beyond our wildest dreams. The researcher's eyes narrowed as she considered the implications, but convincing the humans to trust us and collaborate on such ventures will be no easy task. They have been shaped by a history of conflict and subjugation, and they view our presence here with deep suspicion, no matter how much we strive for mutual understanding. As if on cue, one of the human delegates, a steely-eyed woman with a commanding presence, spoke up, her voice laced with a hint of skepticism. You claim to seek cooperation, yet your very presence here is a reminder of the threats we have faced throughout our history. How can we be sure your true intentions are not to exploit us, as so many have done before? The researcher took a deep breath, her gaze unwavering. We understand your concerns, and we have no desire to repeat the mistakes of the past. Our aim is to forge a partnership built on mutual respect and shared ambitions, one that will benefit both our civilizations in ways we can scarcely imagine. She leaned forward, her expression earnest. Think of the discoveries we could make, the advances we could achieve, if we were to combine our knowledge and resources. Together, we could push the boundaries of science and technology, unlocking the secrets of the universe and charting a course for a brighter future. The human delegate's brow furrowed, her gaze considering. You speak of grand visions, but the trust you seek must be earned, not simply demanded. We have fought too hard and sacrificed too much to surrender our autonomy to any foreign power, no matter how advanced you may be. The researcher nodded, acknowledging the human's valid concerns. Then let us begin by taking small steps, building a foundation of understanding and collaboration that can grow over time. We are willing to work at your pace to demonstrate our commitment to this partnership through our actions, not just our words. As the negotiations continued, the researcher couldn't help but feel a growing sense of optimism. The humans were proving to be formidable partners, willing to engage on their own terms and push the boundaries of what either civilization thought possible. With patience and persistence, perhaps, just perhaps, a lasting alliance could be forged between these two vastly different worlds. The renewed diplomatic efforts between the aliens and the humans progressed slowly but steadily as both sides navigated the treacherous waters of mistrust and cultural differences. The alien team, led by the seasoned researcher, approached the negotiations with a newfound sense of caution and respect, fully aware that any misstep could reignite the smoldering conflict. As the talks wore on, the researcher and her colleagues began to gain a deeper understanding of the human psyche, their fierce pride, their unwavering determination, and their ability to adapt and innovate in the face of adversity. These were not the primitive beings the aliens had initially dismissed, but a species with a unique and formidable set of traits. They are extraordinary, the researcher mused, her gaze fixed on the human delegates across the negotiation table. Their ingenuity, their resilience, their capacity for problem-solving. It far exceeds anything we had anticipated. One of her colleagues nodded, his expression pensive. Indeed, and the more we learn about them, the more we realize the vast potential that lies in forging a true alliance. Their technological aptitude, combined with our own advanced capabilities, could unlock discoveries and breakthroughs beyond our wildest dreams. The researcher's eyes narrowed as she considered the implications, but convincing the humans to trust us and collaborate on such ventures will be no easy task. They have been shaped by a history of conflict and subjugation, and they view our presence here with deep suspicion, no matter how much we strive for mutual understanding. As if on cue, one of the human delegates, a steely-eyed woman with a commanding presence, spoke up, her voice laced with a hint of skepticism. You claim to seek cooperation, yet your very presence here is a reminder of the threats we have faced throughout our history. How can we be sure your true intentions are not to exploit us, as so many have done before? The researcher took a deep breath, her gaze unwavering. We understand your concerns, and we have no desire to repeat the mistakes of the past. Our aim is to forge a partnership built on mutual respect and shared ambitions, one that will benefit both our civilizations in ways we can scarcely imagine. She leaned forward, her expression earnest. Think of the discoveries we could make, the advances we could achieve, if we were to combine our knowledge and resources. Together, we could push the boundaries of science and technology, unlocking the secrets of the universe and charting a course for a brighter future. The human delegate's brow furrowed, her gaze considering. You speak of grand visions, but the trust you seek must be earned, not simply demanded. We have fought too hard and sacrificed too much to surrender our autonomy to any foreign power, no matter how advanced you may be. The researcher nodded, acknowledging the human's valid concerns. Then let us begin by taking small steps, building a foundation of understanding and collaboration that can grow over time. We are willing to work at your pace to demonstrate our commitment to this partnership through our actions, not just our words. As the negotiations continued, the researcher couldn't help but feel a growing sense of optimism. The humans were proving to be formidable partners, willing to engage on their own terms and push the boundaries of what either civilization thought possible. With patience and persistence, Perhaps, just perhaps, a lasting alliance could be forged between these two vastly different worlds. As the hard-won alliance between the humans and the aliens continued to strengthen, the two civilizations embarked on a new era of unprecedented cooperation and mutual progress. The initial mistrust and suspicion that had once threatened to tear them apart had been gradually replaced by a deep respect and appreciation for each other's unique strengths and capabilities. The human delegates, once wary and defiant, now embraced their alien counterparts as true partners, eager to combine their knowledge and resources in pursuit of shared ambitions. Together, they tackled some of the most complex challenges facing both worlds, from the exploration of uncharted regions of space to the development of revolutionary new technologies. "It's remarkable, really," the lead alien researcher mused, a hint of wonder in her voice as she observed the collaborative process. "The humans have proven to be invaluable collaborators, contributing ideas and solutions that we never could have conceived on our own." One of the human delegates, a brilliant young engineer, nodded enthusiastically. "The feeling is mutual. Your advanced understanding of physics and engineering has unlocked new realms of possibility for us. Together, we're pushing the boundaries of what either of our civilizations thought achievable." The researcher's expression softened as she considered the progress they had made. "I remember a time when we saw the humans as little more than primitive, inferior beings. How wrong we were. Their ingenuity, their adaptability, their sheer determination. These are the qualities of a true apex species." The human delegate chuckled, a touch of pride in her voice. "Apex species, huh? I suppose you aliens finally realized that you weren't the only ones who could lay claim to that title." Her gaze turned thoughtful. "It's been a long, difficult road, but I'm glad we were able to find common ground and work toward a future where our two civilizations can thrive side by side." The researcher nodded, a smile playing at the corners of her lips. "Indeed, and the possibilities that lie ahead are truly boundless. Imagine the wonders we can uncover, the frontiers we can explore, when we combine our knowledge and resources in service of a shared vision." The human delegate's eyes sparkled with excitement. "I can't wait to see what we'll accomplish. This is just the beginning of a remarkable journey, one that will forever change the course of our respective histories." As the two leaders continued their animated discussion, the researcher couldn't help but feel a profound sense of gratitude and optimism. The journey to this point had been fraught with challenges, but the rewards of their hard-won alliance were already proving to be immeasurable. With a renewed sense of purpose, the researcher knew that the future held limitless potential for both the humans and the aliens. Together, they would push the boundaries of exploration, uncover the deepest secrets of the cosmos, and forge a path towards a brighter, more interconnected future for all. The days of mistrust and conflict were behind them, replaced by a shared vision of boundless possibilities. As the two civilizations embarked on their journey of collaboration and discovery, the researcher couldn't help but marvel at how far they had come. From unlikely adversaries to cherished partners, united in their pursuit of knowledge, progress, and a better tomorrow.